Well, it appears that Mary Barra isn't overly confident in the future performance of General Motors. Considering she's the CEO, that could be could be a little bit of a concern. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. YouTube's new algorithm means that you're often not getting all of our videos in your feed. There's 7,500. I'm pretty sure you're probably not seeing a lot of them. In the description, there is a link to our newsletter. Click on that and you can get an update every day of all the latest news in the electric car industry. I am, I got to say, a little surprised to see this. Generally, when CEOs sell stock, they don't dump this much at once. This is quite a large amount. GM's CEO, she has sold 40% of her stock worth tens of millions of dollars. And it's not like she needs to. I mean, she's making more than $30 million a year. So she's not like struggling for cash or anything. And as far as we know, she hasn't bought any massive mansions and needs to go and basically raise all this money. So it is interesting. And it does make me wonder if she's, while not particularly confident in GM's future potential to compete with companies, particularly those from China. Yeah, I mean, in August, GM CEO Mary Barra, she sold 40% of her personal stock and options in the company, valued at $35.4 million US. She also earned $30 million in compensation last year. So $30 million, it wasn't enough. She needed to sell more stock to get another $35.4 million. I don't know about you. I mean, tell me what you guys think. But I'd say that suggests if she doesn't need the money, she's got plenty of cash. She's making $30 million a year. To me, that says you're not particularly confident in the future of the company. Most CEOs wouldn't do that. And it sends a message as well to investors. I should point out as well, Berkshire Hathaway, they held General Motors stock for 10 years. They dumped it all I think it was only in 2 trades. I mean, they held a couple of billion. They dumped it completely. After more than 10 years, they finally went, okay, enough's enough. The sales included a mix of shares and also stock options. Barra unloaded 297,000 shares at an average price of $58, equating to approximately $17.3 million. She then exercised and sold 235,000 stock options at a strike price of $39, netting around $4.5 million. Another 375,000 options were exercised at $35 per share, totaling $8.5 million. In addition, she sold 87,840 shares from an annuity trust at $58, bringing in about $5.1 million. So all of that added up to a pretty large amount of money. As I mentioned earlier, it added up to $35.4 million US. So how did Barra go about selling them? Well, it's interesting because normally this kind of stuff spooks the market, but here's how she did it. General Motors uses an algorithm that automatically sells the shares of certain executives when they hit a predetermined price if those executives want to sell them. The idea is to prevent accusations of insider trading if executives are in possession of information not yet made public. Basically, what they're saying is a way for them to say, no, we didn't know. We didn't know that we were about to lose $1 billion because of Trump's his tariffs. We didn't know that we're about to close 3 factories in China. We didn't know basically our sales were going to fall because of XXX. I mean, obviously, there is some level of insider trading here because Mary Barra has a much better knowledge of the company. Yeah, a much better knowledge of the company and its position and its future positioning against its rivals than anyone probably else would know. Well, you'd think anyway. GM spokesman Jim Kane said that most of Barra's compensation is linked to the company's results. About 92% of her pay depends on performance and measurable targets, while in 2024 alone, stock and performance-based awards accounted for 76% of her total package. Her base salary has remained steady at $2.1 million since 2017. Now, all this stuff about performance-based awards is all a complete load of bullshit. It's just ridiculous because even if General Motors goes backwards, she still gets most of it. It's nonsensical. Anyway, Barra's compensation will soon rise. In June, GM's board agreed to increase her short and long-term compensation by 8%. commensurate with our strategy to reward and motivate performance and to offer market competitive compensation, said GM. Clearly, 30 million a year is not enough, and it's not just 30 million a year. As you can see, it's also a bunch of stock options as well. She needs more than that in order to be motivated for General Motors to perform at a high level, even though she's not convinced the company is going to actually necessarily perform at a high level. I mean, if she was, why sell now? Why not wait? Yeah. Anyway, guys, I know it sounds like I'm piling up on General Motors. I actually think GM's done a really good job of getting a lot of EVs out to market and having models out that other companies just don't have the same number of options. The Chevy Silverado, the EV version, that's probably the best electric pickup truck on the market at the moment with its range, really good range. Midgate, love the midgate feature. I wish they'd bring them to Australia and sell them, so that we could get rid of some of these diesel trucks on the road. So kudos to General Motors. Do GM have a good chance it's surviving over the next 10 years? Yeah, but as I've said many times, they're going to be just an American company. Their vehicle sales in China will eventually disappear. And obviously, Chinese companies will take over much of Europe's sales, plus GM sales in places like Brazil and Mexico and South America. Those will be eroded mostly by the Chinese. So GM will be just an American-centric company. They'll still be around, but just nowhere near the kind of size that they were in their heyday. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. A former high-ranked executive at General Motors, Michael Dunn, and now one of the most respected global industry analysts, has revealed exactly how you guys in America are going to be able to buy electric cars from China with no tariffs. I'm talking, okay, a tiny, tiny little tariff, which is minuscule. Lower tariffs than Europe, put it that way, much lower. He says they're going to come through the back door, through an avenue that has already been planned. China has seen this opportunity, and they are currently, flooding a certain market with these zero mileage used cars from China. Basically, these cars are going to go to the US. And I think this is actually a genius plan. I honestly think the US government has lost their minds. I think putting a tariff on EVs from China, I understand doing that, but not putting 100 and whatever percent it is. That is ridiculous. That kind of protectionism, that has never worked out for any country ever. It's never. Tell me an example of how that level of protectionism, basically banning your citizens from purchasing a vehicle, has that ever worked out? It's never been a success. But either way, China said, well, okay, great, you do that, and we'll figure out a way around it. And they already have. Michael Dunn has just revealed how exactly it's happening.